The mind and behavior of Snowfall's best characters are hinged upon the 7 deadly sins. So let's take 15 minutes to analyze and demystify the characters that embody these sins, starting with lust. Lust is not only defined as an intense desire for sex, it is also an intense, unrestricted and uncontrolled desire for the mundane, money, fame, power, 10,000 subscribers. In Snowfall, Luann Jones Saint, aka Aunt Louie, is the embodiment of this sin.
Kiss my ass, Jerome.
Louie is a survivor, a brave woman who defied all odds, and the only character shown to have desired sex so strongly from her partner. Oh, but that doesn't even begin to cover how lustful Louie is. Her intense desire for affluence, influence, fame, and Jerome even rivals that of Franklin Saint. It's safe to say her lust for all these is part of what put the whole story of Snowfall into motion.
Your nephew's a very impressive young man, Louie.
If she didn't get Franklin the help he needed to push his first batch of snow, we would be telling a different story. And why did she do it? Not because she wanted to help, because she saw a way to get what she wanted. And as she got it, her intense desire evolved from innocently wanting to see her cousin get rich to desiring all the fame and influence that came with the wealth.
I'm sorry.
Lust is generally thought to be the least serious capital sin, but you have to understand, it cannot be tamed. Louie's lustful desire for influence and wealth grew into a raging beast that ultimately led to the death of her one true love and her return to the life of a fugitive from the law. The thing about lust is that it can take other mundane forms as the lust for food or, in this case, crack. And on that note, let's move on to the scene of gluttony, epically depicted by Wanda Bell.
How long have you been smoking this shit?
I don't know. It's all just running together. But I don't think I ever really stopped.
Socrates once said, "Eat to live, not live to eat." Eating food is good, eating food is necessary for your body, but when eating leads to an uncontrollable desire for food that leads to an overconsumption and ultimately leads to your body getting harmed, then such a person is rid with the sin of gluttony. It doesn't have to be all about food. Gluttony can come in the form of an uncontrolled urge to get filled with excessive wine or drugs, and this is what gluttony does to a person.
You need to make that shit right with Leon and Wanda.
Who gives a fuck about Wanda?
When Wanda Bell first comes onto the scene, she is the very lovable girlfriend of Leon. Eventually, Leon gives Wanda a chance to help out the operation by organizing the retail packages of the crack cocaine. But it's only a matter of time before Wanda gets a taste and will spend a very long time wanting more. The thing about gluttony is that it can never be enough. Even when you can see and feel your body dying, you'll still want more food or crack or whatever it is you ingest. Using Wanda as a case study, even when Leon did everything in his power to save her from her gluttonous lifestyle, it didn't work, as nothing could stop the fear of Wanda. She didn't mind getting defiled and used by whoever would give her what she wanted. She didn't mind throwing her integrity away. She didn't mind killing a fellow human to get what she wanted. She didn't even mind losing her teeth. And for what? Be not among wine bibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty. Gluttony is one sin that only the strong in mind can recover from. It not only weakens the body, it also destroys the mind. But thankfully, Wanda beats this sin and made one of the most wholesome comebacks in TV. Sadly, I can't say the same for Rob, the embodiment of Sloth. Sloth is the evil twin of procrastination and comfort addiction. You should understand that struggling with the sin of sloth is different from having moments of laziness. When a character becomes unnecessarily slow or lazy to effect a certain change or do something that's expected of them, that character is committing the sin of slothfulness, especially when the thing is a do or die kind of responsibility. For a show about hustlers and people who'd do anything to survive, you think no one would be slothful until you meet Rob Volpe, the privileged, naive white boy. 80% of the scenes this guy appears in, he's either slouching or just straight up stoned. Being slothful makes one weak-minded and weak-willed, just like Rob. Rob had all the opportunity in the world to make something better of himself, but he chose to do nothing and just sell drugs. And he wasn't even selling it well.
What can you do?
More than you, white boy.
Oh.
Over time, Rob's slothfulness started getting in the way of business, and when Rob failed to do, he died. From envy are born hatred, detraction, calumny, joy caused by the misfortune of a neighbor, and displeasure caused by his prosperity. The fine line between envy and jealousy is the will to act upon jealous urges. Snowfall has a lot of characters that embody this sin, but none like Kevin Hamilton. The major reason Kevin embodies this sin is probably because of the way he got so envious of Franklin when Franklin started making a shit ton of cash and influence from his crack cocaine business. And it all started as a scintilla of jealousy.
Fuck that, these Mexicans kill our people, your
listening to
people,
this shit,
and they just
Kev.
tuck tail and run. Man, I always knew you wasn't built for that shit, son.
Kevin's envy wasn't really a problem until his cousin Delroy got brutally murdered for dealing crack where he wasn't supposed to, and Franklin ordered him not to get revenge. This just fueled his envy, and eventually Kevin couldn't hold back when he had a chance to betray Franklin and the family.
I don't know who killed your friends.
We can take you right to him. Show you where to get at him now.
Why would you do that? He knew. All along, that motherfucker knew who killed Delroy and Victor, and he ain't say shit. Don't trust Franklin. You hear me?
And this betrayal created a domino effect that led to his untimely death.
You ain't built for this shit, son.
You see, envy is deeper than just coveting someone. It's about wanting to be someone you aren't, and this sin always stems from self-disappointment. If you find yourself being envious of someone's life, check again. Look deep within yourself and you'll see that you don't want to have their life. You just want to be the kind of person who could have that life because you are disappointed about the life you have. Just like Kevin was disappointed in himself for not being in charge of the business, and his self-disappointment led to jealousy that evolved into envy, and all roads of envy lead to death. Just like the scene of Wrath, perfectly portrayed by Andre Wright. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret. It leads only to evil. Andre started out as a decorated LAPD officer in Compton and a neighbor to the Saints family, who always respected the Saints family. But his respect and opinion of Franklin and the Saints family immediately turned to disdain once he found out Franklin was the reason crack hit the streets of LA.
No, you and me, we at war.
I understand why he would hate Franklin for that. He had a duty as a policeman to protect the people of Compton and his daughter, seeing that she was dating Franklin.
Don't do this here, boy.
So yes, his anger is justified, but wrath is one tricky sin. You see, the neutral act of anger becomes the sin of wrath when it is directed against an innocent person, when it is unduly strong or long-lasting, or when it desires excessive punishment. Let's face it, Franklin wasn't no saint, but Andre's anger was very long-lasting, and he made his only goal in life to bring down the family. Angry people are slaves to themselves, and so was Andre. Wrath consumed him from the inside. It led to disconnection from his daughter and eventually his death. Of all the deadly sins, wrath is perhaps the most lethal as it leads to vein-popping and eye-reddening behavior. But what of the original and worst of the 7 deadly sins?
You are the devil. You know that?
Yeah.
Pride goeth before a fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. It was through pride that the devil became the devil, just as it is through pride that our saints became the devil. You see, the pride that blinds causes foolish actions against common sense. It is pride that propelled Franklin Saint to greater heights, and it is the same pride that made him lose himself. In the beginning, he was just a 17-year-old convenience store clerk who wanted to make it out of the hood. But as the show went on, he talked so arrogantly to his friends and the people who stood by him no matter what. He'd start to see his family as people who worked for him and people he owed nothing, disregarding the sacrifices and work they also put in to help build his empire. He'd rather rain hell on earth to get back his $75 million than let it go. He'd rather the downtown property be ripped from his hands than he sell it. These are just a tiny fraction of all the times Franklin embodied the sin of pride. And in the end, everyone he knew and loved saw how unhinged he became. Even the only person who loved him to death. He went from being the biggest drug kingpin in South Central LA to being a drunkard living in filth in his mother's humble home in Compton. He went from having a private jet to being excited when Leon hands him $20 to spend at their corner store.
I'm free.
Say!
Greed is the immoderate desire for riches and earthly possessions that often leads to trampling on other people's interests. A greedy man is a hungry man who only cares about his welfare, and who better embodied this sin than Avi Drexler.
I got the money.
I definitely don't sell $200 worth of coke.
And what do you say?
It's a kilos to people with money.
Avi makes so many dirty deals on a day-to-day basis, and majority of them are at the detriment of all the parties. Every chance he got, he tried to rip someone off or get more than he needed. Just like the time he sold cocaine to Franklin and Jerome at a price that was too high and then increased it again. He even called them greedy.
You greedy motherfuckers.
I guess game recognized game, and greed ultimately led to Avi's death.
Sorry, Avi.
Take care. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of possessions.